As I mentioned, we have on the phone with us this morning Senator Bill Cassidy, who's going to tell us some information of very major interest to our residents in the area and throughout the state. First of all, Senator, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Jesse. How are you?
Doing well. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Oh, my condolences, sir.
My great thanks your condolences.
Oh, yeah, never a dull moment up there these days, is there?
Well, it's so beautiful back home, and I don't know, a bad day in Louisiana is better than a good day here, but on the other hand, I'm very honored to have the job.
Well, thanks for talking to us this morning. I understand you have some information to share with the residents. I'm going to let you kind of just start off because they told me you were going to call, but they didn't tell me why. So take off with
we
it.
Can talk. We can talk about a number of things. We can talk about, we just put in something for football fans. You may remember Steve Gleason. He was the fellow that blocked the punt against Atlanta, and the first came back in the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. Well, Steve Gleason's a good football player, but he ended up developing amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. Now he can't talk. But the guy's inspirational. You go in, you think you're going to feel sorry for him, and you walk out feeling encouraged. What he has done, he's from Washington State, and being an athlete, being from Washington State, he developed software and hardware so he can look at people and it will speak to him. He recorded voice before he lost his voice, and now that software reaches into that his voice and selects the words. Senator Vitter first, and then I afterwards, got bills passed that allows anyone with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis who's on Medicare to have this software and hardware. So we're going to honor him. We're attempting to get a Congressional Gold Medal, and it's not because he's a football player. It's because he's an incredible advocate for the disabled. And being a football player allowed him to attract the attention to do so. So it's kind of a human interest thing, Jesse. But sometimes we just get so caught up with big things that we kind of forget how individual Americans are making our country better, and that's what makes our country so special. It's individual Americans. So I'd start off with that just because it's kind of top of my heart.
Right, I understand. That's a great story. Good news also.
It is good news. And then Entergy, I don't know if folks are seeing the benefit from the tax cut bill we passed. The tax cut bill, a lot of utility companies have passed on savings from the taxes they're saving to decrease the rates of the people paying the utility bills. And so hopefully people are seeing increase in their paycheck from the tax cut bill. Some people are getting bonuses from their employers, but this is another way it's benefiting the average American. The utilities are cutting their rates because they're paying less taxes. So that's something good. Another thing we're doing, Jesse, we're trying to save taxpayer dollars. The federal government prints paper all over the place. You and I would send an email or read it online, get a PDF, and the federal government will print out 200 pages and give it to 10,000 people. One of the examples of this is the Federal Register, which every day is printed, put on the desk of every congressman and every senator. I don't think a single one reads it, because all it is a review of things that you got to document, but it's not what's top of mind. They collect them, they recycle them, they do it again the next day. We are putting in a bill to stop that. If somebody wants it, they can run it off, or they can request a copy, but otherwise don't do it every day. And we think it'll save the taxpayer $1 million a year. Someone says, $1 million is not that much money. Hey, give me $1 million a year, I would think it's a lot of money. So we're trying to save money for the taxpayer in big ways and little ways. Now, we got other things to talk about, Jesse, but let me see if you got any thoughts.
Well, I know that you've been very involved in recent months with the revamping of the Health Care Act. And where we stand, is that kind of just dead in the water right now? Is that going to come back up in the future? Where do you think you stand as far as working on that again?
I think it comes back up in the future. When you talk to folks in the individual market on the Obamacare exchanges, Jesse, they may be paying $40,000 a year in premiums. And then they have a $6,000 deductible, and then they got a deductible for the insurance plan, for their pharmacy plan. And in some cases, they're out $50,000 before they see benefit. So we do think there's a chance it comes back up. States are struggling with the Medicaid, and states can't afford it. Individuals can't afford it. The left is going to do its best to protect Obama's legacy. And even if you come up with a plan that's better than the status quo, I don't think they're going to like it, just because they want to protect Obama's legacy. I'm a doctor. I've worked in the charity hospital system for 25 years. I am so committed that people who don't have coverage, don't have insurance, get health care. But you got to do it in a way which the middle-class person can afford their insurance, not just the person getting the subsidy from the taxpayer. And so I do think it has a chance, not a guarantee, but I think it has a chance of coming back up.
Another hot-button issue is the immigration bill, the immigration debate. Do you see that going anywhere in the near future?
It may. The president is very committed to it. And, the president in the State of the Union said, listen, you don't get all you want. I'm willing to compromise. I'll let twice as many kids stay here, DACA kids stay here, and give them a pathway to citizenship, which President Obama had not done. But I want to secure the border. I'll give the left this, but I want to secure the border. And the left just kind of blew them off. And so all the DACA kids, all the kids who came here when they were 1 year old, and now they're 18 and 19, that the left says they care about, they blew them off. They said, no, we don't want to give President Trump his secure border. And so they've left him out in the breeze. The president remains committed to it. I think he wants to secure the border. The left doesn't care about that. But in the meantime, the left also apparently doesn't care about these young folks who the president says he's willing to let them stay, but the left won't commit to it. So we'll see. I think President Trump continues to be committed to it, but you got to have some cooperation from the other side.
Well, there has been seems like an effort to make it more of a law enforcement safety issue rather than just the human interest with the amount of drugs, illegal drugs coming across the border, and of course criminals, possible terrorists coming across the border. Do you think if they look at it from that point of view, will that mean more people from both sides of the aisle maybe coming to the table to hash out something?
I sure hope so, because we're dealing with an opioid crisis right now, and as doctors are prescribing less opioids, there's a lot of illegal drugs coming from Mexico. We've got to secure that border in order to stop those illegal drugs. Jesse, I have to jump off. I have another interview, but thank you very much for hosting me, sir.
Thank you for calling up, and you're welcome to talk to us any day, Senator Cassidy. Thank you very much.